presentation prepared, and then anything else that you would like to discuss, Carlita? Is anyone else coming from NSF? Okay, all right, so we'll go ahead and get started. I will share my screen, hopefully this is correct. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Oh, this is correct. Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. So this is our debrief, and it also serves as our end of the year advisory board meeting. So I definitely wanted to invite the advisory board for whoever could make it. I know this is not a great time of the day, so thank you all for joining us. So as far as the agenda, we'll start out with actually, I will pass it off to Neela, and she can do the first half, and I will come in after.
Sure. Thanks so much, Iris. And everyone can hear me, correct? Perfect. Okay. So I just want to extend the thanks once again to everyone, specifically our board members and the AAAS staff who supported this entire journey since we opened the application in late January, early February, to get to the point where we were able to complete the e-mentoring, the working with the students, selecting the teams, scheduling the traveling and the logistics, leading to the culmination of our amazing showcase that took place in September. So as Iris explained, we just want to do a debrief of the showcase event itself. And so for our agenda, we're going to just give you a brief rundown of our 2022 showcase teams. We will be getting into the products that have been developed since we started this project year. We want to just touch base very briefly on the new and exciting partnership with VentureWell. We'll give some brief slides on the external evaluation results that our evaluator MN Associates provided. And then we want to tap into having some feedback and talk about our future efforts for the program. So as you all know, we had 11 teams initially from from 8 schools. We had 42 students and 10 faculty members that participated this year. Oops, it's going.
Were you done with that one?
Yeah, it's going for me. You can go to the next slide. Thanks. I'll just say next slide. We wanted to share what the agenda at a glance looked like. So as you may know, for those who were able to attend for the full session, we began Thursday at 6 p.m. with our orientation. The orientation was a hit. We had our marshmallow spaghetti stick challenge that the students and faculty really enjoyed, really got into diving into the teamwork aspect and having to work together with different, students, different backgrounds, that sort of thing. It was really a great icebreaker for the group. And then we began with our opening plenary and reception. We were very happy to have Joey Womack serve as our plenary speaker for the opening plenary. We worked with Joey first, thanks to Brandon, who introduced us for our innovation roadshows, which were a part of the previous grant. We were able to bring him back for some virtual webinars during the pandemic and have him serve as our opening plenary speaker. Next slide, yep. So Friday was our full day of workshops that we had, which featured workshops for both students and faculty. Thank you again to many of our advisory members who served as speakers for either the student sessions or the faculty sessions. We started at 8 a.m. with our breakfast plenary, which featured Juanita Lewis, who again was absolutely amazing, and met with us virtually while she was in Ghana. And that was a really inspirational talk that she provided, giving her HBCU background and being an entrepreneur with an HBCU background. We had our first 2 sessions held before lunch, which were how to leverage social media. Thank you again, Brandon, and the team that joined Brandon, including Joey Womack. Our faculty sessions, technology transfer at HBCUs. Thank you, Ellie, for serving as a speaker for that session. And then we had our afternoon, or our second sessions of the morning, preparing for life after college. and the grants and resources for HBCU faculty, which featured a number of speakers from across different federal agencies and, featuring VentureWell and other partners. We had our working lunch that we talked about opportunities, fellowships around challenge prizes, challenge prizes, and also opportunities that organizations such as FAR, which Lakeisha Odom led, they spoke at our working lunch. Next slide. We had the afternoon, we had 2 additional sessions. The critical role of failure, how to fail fast and make strategic moves, led by advisory board member Lakeisha Greenwade, thank you. Collaborating with sponsored programs and research, led by advisory board member Dr. Ron Williams from Coppin State and a few of his team members. And then we finished with career pathways and invention, innovation, making entrepreneurship for our students. And that was with Dorothy Jones Davis, one of our advisory board members, along with Deidre Roberson, who we were really thrilled to be able to bring to DC, who has been featured heavily in Essence and on social media with the work that she's doing in Detroit with her EU Melanin and her story lab. I forgot what the program that she's doing, but it's bringing STEM labs to students in the Detroit area. And our final faculty session was with VentureWell, who shared some of the innovation opportunities that they've hosted or that they're aware of for our HBCU faculty members. We ended the evening, we had students participate in a final practice for their showcase pitch, and our faculty members participated in our evaluation focus groups. Next slide. Saturday, the day of our pitch competition. We wanted to ensure that our faculty members received the same amount of sessions because this is a community of practice. So we not only focus on the students, we do focus on our faculty members as well. So we wanted to ensure that they received an additional faculty session. And this one was really to get their input to really support some of the work of this grant and of the community of practice. So we received their input on the HBCU Innovation Resources Toolkit, which is one piece of the activities that we are providing with this grant. But most importantly, we started the morning with our showcase pitch competition, and we'll be getting into reminding everyone who our winners were in our next few slides. Our student evaluation focus groups followed the pitch competition, and then we concluded with our awards plenary luncheon that featured Dr. Derek Brent from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and Shirley Malcolm, who is the former head of our formerly known as EHR, but now known as IC Directorate, and then awarding our first, second, and third place pitch competition prize winners. Next slide. So as you all may recall, we were really excited about the top 3 teams this year. Thanks again to our advisory board members and others who served as judges. Third place was our Jackson State University team, a step to combat food security in the state of Mississippi. They were absolutely amazing. They had a jingle that everyone loved and people shared across social media. What I was really happy about with this team was that Dr. Mitra has participated in the showcase since its inception. And in the beginning of the year, he did state he really felt good about this team. He felt this team had a chance. And indeed, for his many years, his 5 years of competing, this was his first team to place. So we were really thrilled with that. Next slide. Our second place team is the team from Philander Smith College. They have been really rolling since I have been a part of the showcase, which was in 2020. They have placed each year since then. This second place team did Eco Home, which was an amazing sustainable home system that you can use in an app to kind of, heat your home, provide lighting, that sort of thing, but in an app-based form. Dr. Anwar has really worked well with this team. Dr. Zhang this year was their faculty advisor, but Dr. Anwar has also continued to work with them. But this team did a fantastic job in place second. And once again, North Carolina A&T took the top prize for our showcase pitch competition. A completely different team. Last year's team, as you know, did the COVID drone. This team was a team that focused on a probiotic technology that's easy to take, probiotics, Progel. Absolute stars on this team. I think Raquel, Elena, Philip, and Abdul Hakim did a wonderful job. Really articulated the innovation well, the accompanying, videos that they showed to describe it. It was absolutely fantastic. And this year, I am really pleased that, really there was such a close competition between the first and like sixth place teams. It was really separated by tenths of a point of who placed this year, which shows that I truly believe that our time spending in providing the e-mentoring and e-coaching throughout the year really raised the bar with these student teams and how they pitched this year. So congratulations once again to our top 3 teams. And then for obviously A&T for taking the prize 2 years in a row. So this slide just kind of goes through all of the teams and what they pitched for our showcase pitch competition this year and the UN goal that they addressed. So we had Alabama A&M University, who were attempting to teach coding to minority students in Alabama and Alabama A&M University. They were teaching Python. Bowie State University created a technological water filtration system that was used to provide clean water. Jackson State, as you know, did the food security app they provided, which they placed with. Lincoln University did a teaching tool to teach students how to grow their own plants and crops and food. Morgan State University, we had 2 Morgan State teams. The first team developed a food delivery service app for vulnerable populations. Next slide. The second Morgan State team developed an app to increase safety for bike riders, micromobility riders in the state of Maryland, specifically in the city of Baltimore. North Carolina A&T, who placed first, developed the Progel probiotic. EcoHome, as you know, placed second. The other Philander Smith team did a how to recycle used phones and how to receive incentives for recycling, old phones and items. And then Tuskegee University put together a media production tool of how to share resources on COVID-19. Next slide. And we just want to again shout out our amazing plenary speakers that we had this year: Joey Momek from Goody Nation, Juanita Lewis from Crescendo Foods, and Derek Brent, who serves as the Deputy Undersecretary of Commerce for Intellectual Property at the United States Patent and Trademark Office. We were really thrilled, and thanks to our amazing NSF and AAAS leadership who were able to present, whether virtual or in person. Dr. James Moore, who is the new Assistant Director for the STEM Education Directorate, his first task was accepting our invitation and speaking at the AAAS Making an Innovation Showcase upon his hire at NSF. So we were really thrilled to have him join us. And our CEO at AAAS, Dr. Sudip Parikh, who unfortunately was traveling out of town, but provided a video for the students and faculty members and guests who attended the showcase. And then Iris, I'll pass it off to you.
Thanks so much, Neela. So I will pick up here, and we're just really thrilled with the showcase this year. We made a number of enhancements, like Neela mentioned, by having a student track and a faculty track, which just reiterates and reinforces the fact that we really want not just the students to have professional development, but the faculty to have professional development as well as a specific goal in our evaluation and logic model, and really helping to acclimate faculty as well, because we really want the students and faculty to bring back the resources and knowledge and information back to these HBCUs to help us with developing and building capacity and sustainability beyond this grant. So it's really key that not just for students, but that we also support faculty, because they will be the ones to carry on this work at these institutions. So we had a number of products. Again, we mentioned several enhancements this year. We were thrilled that we were able to actually live stream the showcase that was professionally done, so that students, family, friends, supporters of these teams could live stream. So that was something that we were really glad that we were able to do. We also worked with our AAAS communications team to develop our first ever digital media package that we sent to all of the teams and gave them some guidance on helping them prepare press releases, just in case their team won first or second or third place, but also could be used at their institutions to really highlight and celebrate these teams and students and faculties on their campuses. So we're really proud of the first ever digital media package release that we were able to work with the communications team to produce. Again, we worked with the AAAS communications team on an article that was on our homepage of AAAS, really highlighting the work of this grant, this project, and the showcase being one of the key components of this grant. And then we also would like to share here a premiere of the video that we had made. We contracted a videographer, so hopefully this plays. And let me just click on share sound. So let's see. And let me know if you can't hear.
By participating in this conference, it's
hear
allowed
it,
me to not just have relationship and better understanding with my fellow HBCU projects that they're working on. Some are similar and just some very different, and how we can all work together for one goal in general.
In participating in this for several years at this point, it made me think about other ways I could actually enhance communication with the public. One of the things I've done is work with my students. We've developed projects where we have some kind of producible that potentially we could take to the public.
Even though we're competing, it doesn't even feel like we're competing. It feels like we are working together to be smarter or to do great things together.
I thought when we landed, it was just going to be straight up to the pitch. But so far, we haven't really even done anything about the pitch. The work we've done about the pitch is personal after we're done with the sessions. But the whole session has been like, oh, we want you to grow here, want you to grow there, make sure you're growing here. So I like that part.
The speakers have really brought vital information on entrepreneurial skills and things that I actually need going forward in the future. They've also taught me that, it's not too late to change.
They also are teaching us how to go about with failures and to not be afraid to fail. And it definitely made me think about what my future is going to be, because I've been wanting to change my career a lot lately, and they taught me not to be scared.
Going to the other conferences, they might not know the background I'm working with, but here is kind of different. Whatever advice they're giving, they have in mind that, okay, you're a black person, you come from an HBCU.
It's a great experience to see others that have made it, they're successful in what they do, and kind of teaching us as Black and colored people that we can make it.
This is a professional conference, but the knowledge seems like it's closer to real life application, because it's people that are showing them how they can do something tomorrow. Like the stuff they're learning today can be applied tomorrow. It can be applied today.
I was a little uneasy about joining at first only because I realized that it was mainly a little bit towards science. Because I'm cybersecurity, so I'm like, is it going to really correlate? But then being here, you know, you can always take away something in any situation. And in this situation, I learned more about technology than I thought I would. On top of that, I was able to network a lot and meet people that will allow for me to excel in the future.
Yeah, it was definitely very daunting coming into it at first because we thought, oh, there's going to be all these people who have these crazy innovations, like how can we compete? But you know, as time goes on, it starts to become a little more grounded, a little more real. It's like, okay, you know, maybe we can do this.
I'm not from here. I'm an international student from Nigeria. So coming here, I didn't really feel that sense of belonging. I just felt like a foreigner. But when I was selected by my HBCU to participate in this showcase, that gave me hope. They really feel like I'm part of them. They feel like I'm part of this family. And so in that sense, it gave me that, okay, I have to do something in return for my community.
What I will take back is I want to show fellow computer science majors that the work that we do is important and it's not just all behind the scenes and just solving the technical problems.
I plan on having many type of these events on my campus where students can come, share their ideas and share how they will develop it. And also just bringing this down to my HBCU specifically.
I really appreciate how intentional they were about making sure that the students are taken care of, making sure that the students have resources. I have been downstairs in that room literally all day, and the information is so rich. It's not soup, it is stew, and it's not like you can just take one thing. There's so many things that you can take from it.
Everything that's going on here right now, I can definitely take with me. It's a life lesson that I can take with me with any career that I go into. They made it broad enough so that every career is met with the information they're telling us. It's teaching me so much that I'm gonna be able to carry with me at the time that we were talking about it and years and decades from now.
I say just being around where things are happening in the country, that's the capital of the country, that's DC, and like seeing how everything moves, waking up in the morning, getting dressed, going to the conference, the whole feeling of being present in something that is this huge. And I see like everybody's on their toes to make sure that this event is a success. It shows that people like me like mean something to AAAS or mean something to the organization. And so it gives me a sense of identity, if that makes sense. It makes me feel like I can actually do something.
Woo!
Yes, I just.
Are you crying, Neela?
Ours is too. It was really such an amazing experience this year, and to just see how the students, from where they started to where they ended up and how it came through in that video, it was great. And thanks to you all.
Okay. This work is so important. Whew. All right. So on to the next. So our partnership with VentureWell, VentureWell actually reached out to us because they saw this critically important work that we were doing. So we are partnering with them to actually extend the opportunities and provide like monetary prizes as well as training opportunities with VentureWell. And we're really excited. We heard back from them. They have an open conference. I think we're 99% sure we were selected to present, and we will be bringing the first place team back to DC to co-present with us with VentureWell, as well as one of our advisory board members, Ron from Coppin State. And we also have some other things in the works. So this partnership includes like co-publishing like articles and media products to really, really expand the reach of this work to a broader network. So we're really thrilled about the partnership with VentureWell. So now I'll go on to our evaluation. Kavita Minipali is our external evaluator, but she couldn't make it today. So I will attempt to present to present her work. Again, this is preliminary findings. But so MN Associates is our external evaluator, specifically working with Kavita Minipali. Some of you might have met her and her team at the showcase, but we have co-developed a mixed methods approach. We have a number of qualitative sources that will include like observations of the monthly professional development efforts, the convenings, the webinars, the e-mentoring, e-coaching sessions. And I again want to thank the advisory board because they have been a critical part. Okay, that's probably so. They have been a critical part of the monthly mentoring and coaching sessions. So I just want to thank the advisory board again for taking time out of your busy, very busy schedules to really work closely with these students throughout the year. And then for our quantitative methods, again, we have a number of surveys. So again, I mentioned that we have a focus on both the students as well as the faculty. Here are our specific research questions that guide the external evaluation. So how are faculty professionally developing and implementing their knowledge and skills related to making and innovation related education and training? To what extent do faculty's teaching strategies and research approaches change or enhance as a result of their engagement in project activities? And then the student level questions, research questions, or evaluation questions are: how does student motivation in STEM, for example, STEM identity, self-efficacy, belonging, aspirations in STEM change or enhance as a result of engagement in these project activities? And then the second one is: how do students see their role in an inclusive innovation community of practice, which is the focus of this specific grant, is developing that community of practice, not only just for engagement, but we really have a goal of sustainability and building capacity at these institutions. So the knowledge and the information and resources that they aren't lost, that they're taking back to these institutions to develop that capacity. And what do they perceive as needs or gaps between their formal preparation and the innovation space? I'm not going to go over our logic model in detail, but we have a very detailed logic model again, which we see as all of the different inputs. So again, thanks to our program officer, Carlita Page Anderson, who is funding this project. So NSF is one of those major resources, as well as all of our partners, our collaborators, our speakers, our workshop facilitators, again, our amazing advisory board. All of these are our inputs and resources, and we have a number of specific outcomes and outputs of this engagement. But the overall goal, again, which guides all of the components of this grant, this project, as well as the showcase, is really to advance innovation capacity at HBCUs. So I just want to go into, I won't focus on the monthly engagements, but I really just want to focus on some findings from the showcase. Carlita, we will put together an extensive report, final report of all of this. So I just only want to highlight the results from the showcase. So this is student session feedback, and we had 33 to complete that. So participants rated sessions on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being highly useful. And the data that you see are the percent that rated very or highly useful. So for session 2, preparing for life after college, that scored 100%, 100%. followed by, and these are in order based on the rankings, how to leverage social media. Thanks for Lakeisha that joined us. Thank you for joining us today. Again, we had a number of our amazing advisory board members that actually served as facilitators for some of these sessions as well. So I won't go into these details, but overall, based on the feedback, students were definitely appreciative and valued all of these sessions. And then we have a quote from one of the students, Dr. Matthews, who was one of our speakers from NIH, who is also an HBCU alum. Said that Dr. Matthews is so great. That was a great presentation. The presentation had a lot of impact on me. I wish to connect to her. Very useful session. Thank you, AAAS. And this is just a snapshot of some of the faculty session feedback. I think we had 11 faculty, so I think this is 100% participation on the faculty. And I hate that I was not in the room with the students. I was in the faculty session, so I missed all of the student sessions, but I heard about them. So again, here are some of the faculty sessions. Thanks again to our advisory board members, Ellie and Laura Collins from North Carolina A&T that facilitated the technology transfer at HBCUs. Thank you to Carlita for participating on our resources for HBCU faculty. That was so much information and resources jammed in that session that my head was spinning. So, and I wish all 104 HBCUs could have been there to really hear all of the millions and millions of dollars of resources and grant opportunities that were shared. So I just want to thank Carlita for representing NSF. We also had TIP and EPSCoR represented from NSF, and we are sharing all of this on our website, and it will be a part of our resources toolkit because we want all 104 HBCUs to have access to this information. And then you can see the other sessions as well. So I will highlight one comment. The moderators were knowledgeable and very engaging. And that was from one of the faculty members. But several of the students and faculty came up to us during the showcase and shared their feedback, which was really positive. So overall, even with us starting this track for the first time of the student track and a faculty focused track, we had to cut out some sessions. In the past, we've had a session with USPTO on patents and trademarks. So some students, some asked like, why did we have that? We couldn't fit everything in. So we were trying to really limit or reduce the number of total workshops and really focus them more on specific high quality, high level sessions for students and faculty. So we could not fit everything in, but I do want to thank our long-standing partnership with USPTO. They've been with us since the beginning, since 2018. But we heard the feedback. We will hopefully bring them back. So just an overall summary. Overall, from students, most students enjoyed their sessions. Students seemed very inspired and interested in passing the knowledge that they learned directly in the sessions to other students, again, which is a key part of us building this community of practice and sustainability at HBCUs. Students mentioned more breaks would have been appreciated. Again, we try to jam a lot in a short time. So we do hear about the requests for more breaks, which is actually surprising because we had less sessions this year. But that feedback is definitely appreciated. So just a little bit of faculty feedback. Overall, faculty members and professional staff rated the sessions highly and thought they were beneficial. And almost all of the students mentioned that they would attend or participate in a future showcase. Just some feedback from our advisory board. We were very thrilled to have, I think, all of our advisory board members present at this showcase. So again, thank you all for your support and attendance. So 6 out of 7 members of the advisory group completed the survey that were present. Members were asked questions about their takeaways. And here is just a quote from one of the advisory board members. The program provided safe spaces for personal team exploration, growth, sharing of resources, mentoring, coaching, and relationship building. So some additional feedback from advisory board members. Most of the group rated highly that the activities during the showcase allowed them to better engage, mentor, and apply the grant's purpose to their role as an advisor. About 83% of team members indicated that they had the opportunity to learn about the federal grants and research opportunities to some or a large extent. Team members also emphasized that events were well organized and that the sessions aligned with the showcase's objectives. Almost all team members rated high or very high for the format of the advisory board meetings. And then all members rated high or very high on the duration of the meetings, per participation at the meetings, feedback received by teams, and topics covered in the advisory board meeting. So thank you again to our advisory board. So some of the overall recommendations that came out of the external evaluation, participation data and feedback, survey data from webinars, e-mentoring, communities of practice. And I think this is just how Kavita organized the feedback. But basically, from what we have from the preliminary results is surveys, survey completion for webinars is lower than we expect. We've tried different things. So I'm not sure what we can do to get more students and faculty and those participants to actually complete the webinars, but that's something that we always struggle with, and that's with every event and every effort is getting people to complete the surveys, especially for the webinars. So overall participation data and feedback, that's something that, you know, we're hoping to get more of, and we value your feedback and suggestions on how, even though we explain how important this data is, just really trying to get most people to complete the surveys, and the data is something that that we're working on. So overall recommendations, the community of practice and the showcase are key components that participants feel that we hope to continue or should be integral parts of this project. So overall, what worked well and opportunities for enhancement. So what worked well were high-level talks, amazing speakers. Participants thought the sessions were highly valued. Some wanted longer sessions to do a deeper dive on topics, or that was one of the suggestions, and improvement with pitches through the e-coaching. So again, Neela mentioned the monthly e-coaching and mentoring. We definitely saw a huge improvement on the pitches from last year because we were able to, and again, thank you to the advisory board, to have a more intimate setting every month where advisory board members were able to consult with students on their specific projects and their specific pitches to help them refine and iterate on their process, because the whole design process is all about refinement, enhancement, and iteration, and trying to make it better over a period of time. So we're really happy with the e-mentoring that we were able to launch this year, and we could not have done it without the advisory board members and the other collaborators that volunteered their time to work closely with these students. So opportunities for enhancement for this project, or the showcase specifically, we will open that up to you all for feedback. If you have any comments, suggestions, or feedback on how we could enhance this efforts or improvements that we could have made for the showcase specifically, this is the time now. And I'll defer to Carlita first if you have any comments. If not, we'll hear from the advisory board members.
Well, thank you, Iris and Neela and everyone else that's assembled. Great job, great event, great presentation today. I mean, just all kudos to everyone that's been involved in the implementation of not only this year's series of events leading up to the showcase, but the stewardship of the grant just in general. So thank you for your commitment to that end. As you all know, this was my first time participating in a showcase. So I was very pleased that I was able to come at least on 2 days. I really wish that I could have been there for the actual pitch day. But generally speaking, my interactions and the conversations, it was important for me to engage with some of the students. So it was a pleasure to kind of just be around and be able to participate in some of the sessions, and then also certainly engage with the faculty and share the funding opportunities that's available with some of the colleagues that you mentioned from the National Science Foundation and other agencies. So high level, great job, right? In terms of enhancements, I don't know that I have very specific recommendations. They're more so about, again, my ability to continue to learn more about the growth and implementation of this project. And so understanding the evolution of the student and university engagement, maybe, getting more understanding of, while I know, 8 institutions this year, are they, kind of legacy institutions that have been involved from the beginning versus any new ones that may come about? Understanding maybe even those who win. So it was great to hear that Philander Smith kind of has been engaging, and maybe this was the year where you saw progress. I wonder if if that success rate is indicative of your engagement, right? And just kind of understanding the impact of the faculty and or the students that are consistently involved, and how that might inform your outreach efforts on how you engage with HBCUs to get more onboarded and actively participating. And so I'll round out my comments to say, it's any strategies that would lend itself to more engagement. I think what you're doing is amazing. And so we're always thinking about scaling and scaling up to that end. And so that are those, I'll conclude my comments there. How we can get more people to just benefit from the great work that you're doing is really important.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carlene. I'll answer some of that. So based on the funding within the grant, we're able to support about 10 teams each year, no more. We actually send a call out to all 104 HBCUs. So we work closely with the White House HBCU initiative. Seneca and Tammy and all of them to really target all 104 HBCUs. We have a special focus on, and we have some indicators and data that we've been compiling on the team since 2018. So we're really looking at a number of indicators. 4 or 5 that I'll mention are size, so small, medium, and large HBCUs, because we know that there's diversity within HBCUs. So size is one, geography, whether it's rural, urban, location, and then we have focus, whether it has a teaching focus or research focus, and then the 4th indicator is, what type of HBCU, is it private or public? So those are 4 indicators that we're tracking. Another indicator is like innovation resources, like do they have maker spaces, do they have a VP of research, do they have innovation courses or entrepreneurship courses? So this is the data that we've compiled on all the teams that have participated in the past. Our hope now that we have Claire hired is to really have somebody work on expanding that data set that we have on the teams that have participated in 2018 to all 104 HBCUs, so we can kind of map all of those resources. Again, we have a special focus on trying to get more of the smaller and rural HBCUs. So that's why you see us highlight Philander so much, because they are the result of us trying to target more smaller and rural HBCUs. So again, we send the call out to all 104 HBCUs, but we're hoping now that we have some more bandwidth and staff to really dig in deeper, and now for all 104 schools, not just the ones that participated, pull all of their STEM faculty, so we can do like targeted communication to the faculty directly, because we do a lot to really send information out to all 104 HBCUs, again, working with the White House HBCU initiative, QEM, and some other organizations, but the response is still, we get the same few teams, we get a few new ones. And again, that may be the result of what we've encouraged students and faculty to do on their campuses, is the ones that win, we encourage them to, hey, start mentoring and coaching new teams and the freshmen that are coming on. So maybe that's a result of our being intentional about the past winners and participants really going back to their campuses and encouraging and coaching newer teams. But definitely point well taken, and we do have a focus on really trying to reach those smaller and rural schools that are not like an A&T and have the resources available and the staff. So great question, and we can definitely share more.
Can I piggyback off of that, Iris?
Mm-hmm.
In the video, if you recall, towards the end, one of the students from Philander, Sam Davis, he made a comment about this experience providing him with a sense of identity. And I think it spoke to him personally, but also in talking with Sam Davis and talking with a lot of the students at Philander Smith previously, even before this showcase, for them, it was a big deal because they felt a sense of identity also amongst some of the more known HBCUs. And so I think by kind of leveraging students and impact statements like that Sam Davis uses, that's the way we can kind of craft this experience and what this full experience would be for those students to some of the smaller, more rural HBCUs that Iris and I really have talked about, and what the advisory board has expressed, those are the types of institutions we would like to reach. So I think, we can brainstorm internally within AAAS and obviously with our advisory board, but kind of using that sort of, this experience can provide you with this sense of self-efficacy, self-identity as a true innovator, inventor, maker, entrepreneur. And then in a sense, as he said, I take it back to my institution because now the institution has gained some sort of acknowledgement. Wow, we placed second amongst, granted it's 8 institutions, but we're right up there with A&T and, Morgan State, schools that have received the resources and funding and acknowledgements that you hear about. So I think that we really have a great opportunity to leverage that identity piece and kind of use that to kind of reach out and seek out some of those other institutions that we really want to reach for the future iteration and scaling of this program.
Yeah, thank you. And as you were speaking, I didn't acknowledge it, but hopefully it's fine. I appreciated this 2 kind of track approach as well, understanding that the success of your program is by and large predicated on faculty buy-in. And so as you're looking for additional measures, you perhaps have already have this included, but another way is to, and it's right aligned with your inviting funding opportunities to be highlighted as part of this showcase. And that might be, determining the extent to which participating faculty actually follow up and pursue funding opportunities that make implementation of their efforts easier, right? So it's one thing for you all to provide the framework for engagement, but another layer, if you will, might be additional support of those said institutions to address internally, whether it's curriculum or infrastructure, or as you say, building capacity, how those 2 entities and focusing on the faculty for that sustainable engagement might be helpful. So.
And you bring a good point too, because when VentureWell reached out to us, one of the key things we said was like, look, we want to support faculty as well. So what resources do you have for faculty? So their faculty grants, that was a key piece why we wanted to accept their offer, because it's not just about the students, it's about the faculty. So the fact that they had faculty grants specifically for faculties and opportunities for them is one of the reasons, because people reach out to us a lot, so, right? But we are very intentional about our collaborations and our partnerships to make sure that, groups that reach out to us just don't want to say, hey, we're supporting HBCU. Like, no, we want real tangibles and concrete things to help students and faculty. So Brandon, I see your hand, and then if any of the other board members have comments, go ahead.
Yeah. Great work as always, and always enjoy engaging with the students, and appreciated the e-mentoring sessions over the summer to increase the level of engagement. But I think, as we all saw, also increase the quality of the pitches and very likely the confidence of the student teams that were presenting. One idea that came to me during the e-mentoring sessions, and I thought it was great to have the students put together the videos that were presented. I know that we're kind of midstream with a current grant opportunity, and so I don't know what flexibility there is for this, but to me, the quality of those video presentations felt like it could be a separate competition. Like there could be a separate prize for that digital presentation of the pitch or digital presentation of the solution to one of the SDGs. Just the quality, especially the Jackson State video, but really there were a couple of others that were I thought high quality as well. If there's capacity to do that, I think that could be a separate prize and something that connects to kind of my broader feedback, which is there's just a lot of content and would love to be helpful in finding more and better ways to share that content, both the older content from 2018 moving forward, but also the content that students and the teams are producing as they are ideating, as they are creating their solution, as they're putting together their pitches. I think there's just a lot of content there. And as we think about engagement, there are ways for the student teams and faculty themselves to share that content. I think if provided instructions, there are certainly ways for the schools who should be proud of the student teams to share the progress that they're making towards ideating again, coalescing around a solution, and then figuring out how to best present that solution. And then, there's a lot of other touch points, et cetera, that I think could be leveraged from a communication standpoint to share that content. I know that all of that requires, additional capacity and kind of brain power. I'm certainly happy to be a thought partner on helping to develop some of that if you feel like that has some merit. But those two things came to mind for me. One, potentially having some kind of separate recognition for the student teams as they're putting together that digital content if we want to continue to do the e-mentoring as we did this year. Two, just communicating overall and potentially providing more and better instruction for students, faculty, the schools themselves, not just around the showcase, but in the lead up to the showcase. And then the third thing is, I know that the goal here is to have a positive impact on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. I just feel like there's a world there that the students could be tapping into, with the showcase being around the same time as the UN General Assembly every year. I just feel like there's something else that could be there that could enhance the student experience and potentially provide some more notoriety and credibility for the program overall by potentially connecting to some of that SDG work that's happening around the same time in New York. Again, very cognizant that everything that I said requires additional capacity and coordination, but those were my thoughts, and certainly happy again to be helpful with any of it if you feel like any of that has merit.
Thank you, Brandon. Great feedback. Anybody else? I just noticed Joyce joined. Hi, Joyce. Dorothy, I think I saw your hand, and any other board members that would like to comment?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that occurs to me is, can you hear me okay? I'm sorry, I'm in a conference. Okay, I have noise canceling headphones, so I'm hoping it works. So I think one thing that occurred to me is, and this may be too ambitious, is we obviously have the showcase, which, we do a lot of work leading up to the showcase and building, the community. But I really think that there's an opportunity for development of the entire ecosystem itself in the community. As you know, obviously, I'm like a very big ecosystem thinker, and I like to think about how we all work together. And I'm wondering if there's an opportunity. So in conversations with folks in general about the work that Nation of Makers has done, and just talking about this as one of the pieces of things that, you know, I'm personally very excited to be a part of. People really light up and they're very excited to engage, and they want to know how they can engage. So these are big corporations that provide funding, that also have lots of resources. And I'm just wondering if one of the explicit asks, so, you know, I was really thinking about what you were saying about the metrics of how we're, who we're choosing, how we're choosing them, and realizing that, you know, there is extreme inequity across the HBCU spectrum. And it's not intentional, like nobody meant for it to be that way. It's just kind of historically, there's lots of actual reasons why. Maybe some people intended it for it to be that way, but we didn't intend for it to be that way. And I'm wondering if we could utilize, as we grow this, are we able to utilize this showcase as also a mechanism to pour back into those communities, right? So it's one thing to give kids, you know, I'm saying kids, they're not kids really, but to give, you know, college students the opportunity to see themselves as inventors and innovators and entrepreneurs and makers. But it's another thing to actually transform the reality on campus, right? Because a lot of them, I think some of the struggles we see in different institutions is because they don't have that infrastructure when they go back home. And so they, as they were trying to figure out their ideas, maybe they don't have somebody, they don't have the facilities to make something. They have the idea, but they're not really sure how to create that prototype. And we're helping them learn, but like they're doing the best they can with what they have, and what they have is not equivalent. And so I'm just wondering if, like, part of what we do, and this is outside the scope of the current way this is set up, and I'm not trying to give your office more work, Iris and Neela and Claire, but just saying, you know, I'm wondering if there's a way that we can bring in new stakeholders who seem to be eager to work with us to really try to expand the capacity of some of these institutions. So maybe it's like you partner with us, and maybe the winning team also gets a makerspace or gets a start to a makerspace, right? Because we're benefiting the individual students, but I'm thinking about how are we benefiting the ecosystem of that school so they can provide more innovators, right? So that's just something that popped into my mind.
I'll just add something really quickly. Phenomenal presentation. I think it would be interesting in the next few years as well to maybe provide a highlight. Where are they now? On, you know, former participants, maybe they've gone to grad school, or maybe they're commercializing something. And that way it helps to continue that pipeline beyond the showcase. But phenomenal job, and thank you for your leadership.
Didn't know I was on mute. Thanks, Lakeisha. Ellie and Brandon, I don't know if you have your hand up again or if it's still there, but Ellie and then Joyce, if you have anything.
Yeah. Brandon, you're going, or should I go?
Okay, hand back down. Go ahead, Ellie.
Right. So I have actually a sort of a comment and a question. I know we're trying to reach to larger, more HBCUs, maybe the 104, that's the goal. It could be some of these factored in our evaluation or criteria, where we ask a student to be proactive and reach out. So maybe some of what even Dorothy was mentioning, if we include interdisciplinary and industry member involvement as part of their getting a bonus point in terms of evaluation, if they have such a reach out. And I know many of students are not connected in social media. It's not limited to Morgan State or Howard. They already know each other. So if we actually open 1 point or extra point for having multidisciplinary, multi-university team, we may get a Howard and Morgan and A&T make a new team. Or there are students in smaller HBCUs that they don't have the facility or the mentoring that is necessary, or faculty mentor. They could become part of another team that is working. So that way we can reach out to more HBCUs, and maybe we can get points also for reaching out to makerspace and get mentors from them, get engaged with them as an additional work. So if we put it on students, I think we achieve more than putting on us as a post-award mechanism. We could say, okay, the awardee will get a space in VentureWell or Makerspace. we give them this additional mentoring. These are all post award. But if we push it through pre-award, they may be more engaged to reach out to each other. And I would love to see a team of HBCU that is mixed of, I don't know, five HBCUs. And we are encouraging the notion of competition, which sort of like a sports, basketball, football, whatnot. That's sort of like that in innovation right now, what we are doing. But what if we take that out and add one other elements that partnership among HBCUs will actually get you more points? Just as a team, it's optional. They don't have to. They can still be A&T team and get the first award. But if they get that additional collaboration, they get extra point. That was my way of reaching out to multiple HBCUs. And the additional benefit I see, there may be faculty mentors from multiple universities working now with each other. So you may suddenly see, Bowie faculty is now working with Morgan State faculty. So that we actually expand beyond our goal. I don't want to add more work to you and the office. I know it takes a bit more, but I'm trying to push it to students. So instead of you doing it, encourage them to reach out. And they are all connected, believe me. I know they're all, you check some of their LinkedIn and social media, they already connected.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you for that feedback too, Ellie. And so I guess the closest thing so far we've had is Spelman and Morehouse have typically paired together like as a team in the past, but this is taking it to another level. Like it makes sense for a Spelman and Morehouse because they're close to pair together. But we've had that like combination of schools, but then what you mentioned is definitely a level higher. So that's great, definitely great feedback. Joyce, did you have something to say? And I can't see the chat, so I apologize if I'm missing something for the chat. But Joyce, did you have anything to add?
No worries at all. I wasn't sure whether I was gonna have to leave early, and so I was typing furiously in the chat earlier. But I just echo what has already been said. First and foremost, you and Neela and your whole team are fabulous. The work that you do is so important and so valuable. And that film had me boohooing, and it was just powerful and moving to see the value and the importance of the work. So whatever we can do to help support this good work, we are more than happy to do. So I wanted to just say that out loud. And then with regard to what has been said from Dorothy about the idea of incentivizing, I guess, is how like our agency is really trying to frame stuff. Finding ways to incentivize interest and participation, I think has tremendous value. You all know USPTO doesn't have grant making authority. And it was funny at the showcase to hear, I think as soon as I said that, somebody was like, why are you talking? But in any event, I do think that we can join forces or help as far as other federal agencies that do have grant funding. So the idea that Dorothy was talking about, we know that DOD is big on providing funding, and they're trying to reach out to HBCUs. We know that's true with NASA, and needless to say, the elephant in the room, we know that with NSF and with Includes and with everything that's going on there. So I think really pursuing that idea, energy, really pursuing that with agencies that have grant funding and also those that have tech transfer focused initiatives just makes sense. And especially since you have the relationship now with VentureWell, that is something that really I think can help incentivize, get more people interested, and hopefully help move the needle more on participation, but also help with that identity piece that was talked about, just in terms of people seeing themselves as entrepreneurs, as inventors, as innovators, because you're actually you're not only providing the know-how, you're also providing the means for, okay, once I have this brilliant idea, how do I take it to the next level? How do I move it? I think adding that piece would be key. And that was, I mean, that is it. Definitely, again, just want to reiterate that we want to do more. And I applaud you for being back in person and doing and stepping out there. It was a wonderful experience. I know that our leadership definitely appreciates the collaboration and also wants to do more. So again, well done, and that's it for me. So I'll be quiet.
Thank you, Georgia. Thanks again. USPTO has been with us from the start. So just again, thank you so much for all of your support. And Lakeisha, Dorothy, Ellie, Brandon, again, amazing advisory board. We are out of time, but I just want to share, and I'll just go over this briefly. So for 2023, we plan to be a year. So this grant included 2 showcases, not 3, so 2021 and 2022. So we plan to spend, we've already started submitting a number of proposals. Again, I mentioned the one for Open, the Venture Well conference that we were accepted for. We will be submitting for the HBCU week a presentation. We will definitely be there. Again, part of the Venture Well funding is we ask for funding to support the first place team, which will be A&T, that we will bring back to co-present with us at HBCU week. So we have a whole year of dissemination, presenting, really expanding the reach and highlighting this work. Again, our recruitment and outreach plans, again, really focusing on, the smaller, more rural schools. So we have all of that planned, hopefully a report or some type of publication. Again, we want to transition and start working on a HBCU Innovation Resources Toolkit that we've been discussing. Thanks to, we got feedback from the faculty. That was one of the faculty sessions, to get feedback from faculty on that HBCU Innovation Resources Toolkit that will be a standing resource for all HBCUs. So these are the things that we'll be working on for 2023. We also mentioned that we want to start an ambassador program for these students so they can be ambassadors on their campuses, and that will help with sustainability and some of the work like they've already been doing, like some of the Philander students, but we would like to have like a formal official title and program to recruit these students to be ambassadors on their campuses. So that will be something that will stand after this grant and after the showcase. So any last words from Neela or anyone else or Carlita before we go? And we will share these slides. Also, we're also working with communications team to have some type of special release of the video. Not sure how that will work, but hopefully we will be able to, again, we've been working well with the AAAS communication staff to really amplify this work on the AAAS 200,000 member scale. We be submitting this for a STEM for All showcase. We presented for EARN this past May, so we will be submitting this for Maker for next year. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to get this video made, so we could use it for that STEM for All submission. So any final words, Neela?
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback, that during this dissemination outreach year, to thank Brandon. I know he mentioned being able to work with us and connect with us and using some of the videos and collateral we already have that exists to assist with the outreach. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to talk about our amazing opportunity for this, premiering and sharing this video. And then my last point was that, and this was kind of to Carlita's point, is that AAAS and specifically SUDIP, our CEO, is very committed to the work that we are doing. We kind of term this as the AAAS HBCU Making an Innovation Initiative within AAAS, because it covers not just the showcase, but the full realm of what we're trying to do. And SUDIP is very interested in following up with the HBCUs with the HBCU presidents that we had the opportunity to speak with in 2021, to continue to get that feedback of how can we support infrastructure? How can we support the institutions? How can we support the faculty within the HBCUs? And so we'll be using 2023 to continue those conversations internally with AAAS so that those conversations can thus expand to the HBCUs. So I just wanted to share that point as well. And that's all. And
thank you, Neil.
Thanks
Forgot
once
all
again.
about so many things. Forgot to even mention the follow-up from the HBCU presidents meeting. So that's on deck for lot for 2020, a lot for 2023. And then also we're circling back to the idea of an HBCU Innovation Alliance that's modeled after the University Innovation Alliance. So that's on deck. We need 5 more years, Carlita, and $2 more million. But so we'll have those discussions after EARN, hopefully, about the future. But yes, so all of these are on deck. And I just definitely want to thank Janice and Claire, who were hired in May and August. Any comments from you all as new to the team and your first showcase? Thank you all for your hard work. We had a number of other team members that aren't here, but just want to give Claire and Janice a final word if you have any.
Just want to say thank you to everyone. It was amazing. I was also in tears at that video, and it's been very impactful in the few months that I've been here.
Okay. Not to put you on the spot, just give me a chance if you have a word, Janice. If not.
Joyce wants to bring back the road shows and the K through 12 work that we were doing with the road shows.
Yes, yes, that was part of a supplement, but yes, great ideas. So thank you. I'm actually late for another meeting, but thank you all so much. We will share this record. Mila, you can stop recording. We will share the recording and we'll share the slides, and we will follow up on the release of the video and some other things.